I know that you looking at me, girl, thinking what you wanna know, think about where we should go. There's all these places in the world that we could go, so let's pack up our bags and let's get on with the show. Let's hit the road without a cameraman. You sitting passenger, your hand in mine. The GPS is at home, the destination unknown. You got me thinking alone when I'm with you at home. So look, I can shut my eyes and see the world so clear.
So today's Monday. Yesterday was Cars and Coffee for anybody that didn't go. We went. It's hard to kind of get any good footage. I mean, the weather wasn't too good. A lot of rain and wind. Turnout wasn't too big, but we got some good stuff that we'll show you later on in the video. And more to come. I think this video we're going to do 5 things I love and 5 things I hate about this car.
I can shut my eyes and see the world so clearly. Open arms, feel the love we have so dearly. All these late nights spent driving.
So the first complaint that I have with this car has to be the placement of the volume switch for the radio. So use this switch right here to change the song. If you want to rewind, fast forward, or even the volume. I think that's in the worst position ever. Like when you have a cup or a drink in the cup holder and you go to change the song and you're resting your arm on the armrest. This thing is just like, it's in the total wrong spot. So let's try and get a good perspective of this. So here's the armrest, here's the drink. So normal driving position, I guess. You got this in the way and you want to change the song. You know, this damn drink is just always in the way. I think that's like one of the biggest things ever since I got the car. So I think number 2 for me on the 5 things that I dislike about this car has to be the Audi MMI system. I think it's okay, but I think it is nowhere near as good as like Mercedes or BMW. I think they have okay ones, but I think like once you hop in the car, you want to go, you want to listen to some music, all of a sudden Bluetooth's taking like 5 minutes to come on. I think that's wicked annoying. You know, I'm halfway to work by the time my songs come on. It's another small little thing, but you know, you pay a lot of money for the car, you want things to work efficiently. And I think like the navigation, so let me give you a little demonstration of the navigation here. So I think it's more of a pain in the butt to kind of type stuff in. You know, I know that you have like the voice control and stuff like that, but it never seems to work for me. So like if I want to type something in, you got to kind of scroll through and use this like little I guess letter dial to kind of like choose where you want to go. I think that can get a little bit annoying. I mean, you kind of have to pull over to do it unless you're really good at multitasking and driving, but I really wouldn't recommend that. I think other than the little complaints with the MMI system, I think overall I'd give it like, if I was to rate it, I guess I'd give it a 7 out of 10. I think the sound system in the car is really good. I have the stock sound system. I don't have the upgraded or whatever it is when you get the premium stereo, but overall I think it's really good. Not too much to complain about, just the little things, I guess. Still, so number 3 for me, I know that it can be upgraded when you buy the car from the factory, and you can always like change aftermarket parts and stuff, but I would say number 3 for me would kind of have to be the trim pieces on this car. I think they feel really cheap in my opinion on a luxury car, if you will. The pieces that I'm talking about are right here. The plastic pieces up here, not so much the aluminum trim, but more so like the black trim that's up through here and here. I think they could have did a little bit more premium parts. I guess it's over there on the door handle as well, but that's really the only piece in this car that I think feels kind of cheap in my opinion. I think that everything else is really well put together. So I think number 4 for me for things that I dislike about the car, it would have to be the stock exhaust. I mean, I upgraded. I think that was the second mod that I did, was a full AWE track exhaust. For me, that's always one of the main modifications. I think that's one of the first things you should ever do to your car, but that's just me. Let me see if I can pull this. I think I still have the stock exhaust in my basement. Let me go see if I can pull this thing out of there, show you kind of why it's number 4 on my list of what I don't like. Alright, so seriously, you know, when I first bought the car, those exhaust tips looked nice, but look at the size of this thing. You know, as you can see in that little video, I struggled to lug this thing out here. The thing weighs like 70 pounds, 80 pounds, who knows, but look at the size of that. You know what that does? Makes your car sound bad, and that's right. You know, you go from this to that, you know, size of those mufflers right there. On a supposed to be sports car, yeah, that's a no-go for me, but all right. So that's number 4 right there. That should be number 1 on the list. So I guess number 5 for me, for things that I don't like about the car too much, would have to be the engine bay. I like the way it looks, but I like to work on my own cars, and I find that this is everything that's in this engine bay is super hard to get into. You know, I don't have the biggest hands, but that's a tight engine bay. You know, like you want to get down at the headers or anything like that, not gonna happen. You want to get you want to remove the pulleys and like upgrade those, you know, the whole bumper's coming off. I guess now we can move on to the 5 things that I love about the car. I'd say this one's gonna be a lot easier than the 5 things I hate, but I guess the first thing to start would be the look. This car is a very aggressive look, if you ask me. I mean, it has more of like the it has like the classy Audi look, but it also has the look of like, kind of looks fast in a way. So number 2 for me would have to be the exhaust. I know that it was in the 5 things that I hate, but when you pair this car with AWE track exhaust, totally different car. I know it's not something that came with it, but the sound that this car makes with that exhaust, best investment you can make in my opinion. I think that it totally changed the car. I think it made it feel more like a race car in a way. So we'll get some exhaust clips coming up in the next couple of videos. It's a little bit cold, a little bit windy today to get some good sound, but that exhaust and that car, perfect. So the third thing that I love about the car has to be the lights. I've always thought, like even growing up before I even thought about owning an Audi, I always thought that the lights are one of the coolest features in the car. I mean, you know exactly what car it is when it's coming behind you or towards you, and it just looks cool. It looks fancy. Yeah, it's definitely one of the things that I love about the car. The 4th thing that I love about the car is the interior. You cannot go wrong with this red and black interior. I've seen it in white and black too, and all black, and it looks good no matter what, but red's always been my favorite color, and you cannot go wrong with the way that this looks. I mean, it speaks for itself. I would say number 5 for me has to be the way that it drives. You know, I've driven a lot of different cars. I've never driven anything that feels the way that this car feels. You know, has a lot of torque in a way and a lot of power, but the power is very smooth, so it's like a very smooth delivery of the power. So I mean, it's one of those cars that you can get in a lot of trouble with quickly if you don't pay attention to what you're doing. So
Yeah, who the youngest nigga putting on for the city? That's me. That's who? That's me. And damn, it feels good to be free. Let's breathe. We got the whole city going crazy. Woo. We got the whole city going, yeah. Who you gonna be when the sky turns black? When you start to make stacks and the world gets cold? I've been some shit like this for the last 20 years. I'm prepared, yeah, the future nearly here. Time right now is just bad as the essence. Gonna part 2, it's a hell of a blessing. Tell them stop sleeping. No way. Tell them stop sleeping. Yeah, adversity is what made me king. Away with words, gon' make that meal. Last remains of what's truly real.